So then we finished up with the treatments, and then they said, well, let's get you on cancer preventative drugs. And I said, what's that? And they're like, it's a cancer pill, so you don't get it again. By that time, I had already done research into the gut, pH in the body, and I discovered that those pills would potentially make my body more acidic, which would open my body up to further infection. So I said, I'm not going to do that. They said, well, it's protocol. And I said, well, this is my life.
Not my protocol, yeah.
This is my life, and, you know, and I'm the one living it, so I have to do what's best for me.
You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show, and remember the old nature versus nurture debate? Well, we've come to realize it's just not that simple. Science has come a long way in understanding what our genes actually do. And as we'll learn on today's program, they are much more dynamic than most of us have been led to believe. My next guest is an awesome example of that. Anthony Martinez Bevan was a man facing a very uncertain future. Diagnosed with cancer and HIV, he'd exhausted all possible healing options with traditional medicine. So he began to prepare for the worst. It was only then that he discovered information on how you could alter his genetic makeup and possibly change his life, and that's exactly what he did. So Anthony, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Big round of applause, of course. So what happened? So you had HIV and what type of cancer did you have?
Anal cancer, early stage anal cancer.
And they told you that really there's not much they could do for what did the doctors tell you?
Well, they couldn't figure out why my body was in inflammation. So I was diagnosed with HIV in July of 2016. A month and a half later, my whole body went into inflammation. So when I say my whole body, my top and bottom eyelids were swollen, my ears, my neck, my groin area, my armpits, all the places where we have lymph nodes. My body was trying to let me know there's something going on. You have to figure it out. So my HIV primary care sent me to a specialist, after specialist to a specialist. Finally, we got to a sinus specialist, and she put a scope up my nose, and she said, you don't have chronic sinusitis. This is fresh mucus. What's going on in your gut? Because 80% of the immunity occurs in the gut. So she sent me back to my HIV primary care, and they did an anal pap smear, and they found 2 large transformation areas. They said that they had to treat them immediately because that cancer spreads quickly. So they did that, and by the time I was done with the treatments, I had no gut left, and I had very little T cells. So, and T cells are our frontline defender in our immune system.
Sure.
Our CD4s. Healthy is between 1,000 and 1,500. I was I was actually in AIDS territory by the time I was done with my treatment.
Less than 200.
Yes, exactly. I had 20. So,
so which means, just so you follow this, when you have less than 20, you said, you know,
at about 20.
At about 20, I mean, you're susceptible to every type of infection that you could get, and some of them could be life-threatening. So this is a very serious situation. Then what happened?
So then we finished up with the treatments, and then they said, well, let's get you on cancer preventative drugs. And I said, what's that? And they're like, it's a cancer pill, so you don't get it again. By that time, I had already done research into the gut, pH in the body, and I discovered that those pills would potentially make my body more acidic, which would open my body up to further infection. So I said, I'm not going to do that. They said, well, it's protocol. And I said, well, this is my life.
Not my protocol, yeah.
This is my life, and you know, and I'm the one living it, so I have to do what's best for me. So I turned to holistic methods. I imported soursop mangosteen, which are great for helping to heal the body and bring the immune system up. I did apple cider vinegar, sovereign silver. I did organic garlic, honey, things like this to bring my immune system up on my own.
And your gut, and to help your gut replenish the good bacteria, the microbiome. And he's talking about good, and we've talked about this on this show before, is that great bacteria and other organisms in your gut, and also give prebiotics to replenish them. And then what happened?
So then I kept doing what I was doing, and you know, by June, they tested my T cells. I was at 900. And they were like, well, there's no way that you could have been at 20. And I was like, well, you saw me. You know, you saw the condition that I was in.
And you were not on any drugs for HIV at all?
I was.
Okay,
I was.
okay,
Yeah. I was on Genvoya, which is one of the newer HIV drugs, but it's impacted my liver. It's given me non-alcoholic fatty liver as a result. So it's like there's a trade-off when you do Western medicine. Always.
Yeah.
Like you said.
And I think the real important key is that you really understood that your gut is the center for so much of your body's functions, including your immune function. And for you, the immune function is tremendous. HIV, as many of you know, affects the immune system, which in turn affects the rest of the body. So, you know, what kind of conditions were there in your family before you were diagnosed, Stephen? You know, what's in your history?
Oh, anything and everything, right? Diabetes, cancer, cystic fibrosis. My nephew actually has cystic fibrosis. A lot of people in on my mom's side of the family are recessive gene carriers for that. But it's not as much about what's in your genetic history as in do you have the detox gene?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out here who have the detox gene. It's called MTHFR.
Yes.
And it's rendered inactive when your diet is high in meat. Our bodies,
Which is everybody in this country.
Everybody in this country, everybody in America. Our diet should be 80% plant-based, if not higher, because we need those the B6, the B12, the selenium, the folates from the leafy greens to help us detox out.
Yeah, and you also have helped other members in your family. Tell me about that.
Yeah, my nephew has cystic fibrosis. His situation was, he wasn't, he didn't have solid stool, so we got him on some hydration therapy. We got him on some nutrients, and we've turned the situation around. I know it sounds a little gross to talk about, but his bowel movements are now solid, and it's the first time.
That's huge.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. I tell my kids that too, and in the beginning, they didn't know what I was talking about, but I said, your bowel movements and how your bowels function and the integrity of your bowel is so paramount. So thank you for sharing that with us. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Partha Nandi, and if you enjoyed that video, you're gonna love the next one. It's full of incredible information to help you start your health hero journey.